As chair of the commission, I call this meeting of the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission.
Oh, he froze.
MC, if you can hear us, you froze up. All right, I'm going to take over. Good morning, everybody. If MC comes back on, and we'll let him pick this up. But as temporary chair of the commission, I call the meeting of the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission to order at, where's my clock? Of 10:01. Zoom webinar is live streamed on YouTube and the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission YouTube channel. For anyone in the public watching who would prefer to watch via a different platform than they currently are using, please visit us on our social media website at Redistricting MI. Our live stream today includes closed captioning. Closed captioning, ASL interpretation and Spanish, Arabic, and Bengali translation services will be provided for effective participation in this meeting. Email us at redistricting@michigan.gov for additional viewing options or details on accessing language translation services for this meeting. People with disabilities needing other specific accommodation should contact redistricting@michigan.gov. This meeting is being recorded and will be available at michigan.gov/MICRC for viewing at a later date. This meeting is also being transcribed, and those closed caption transcripts will be made available and posted on the michigan.gov/MICRC website and written public comment submissions. There's also a public comment portal that may be accessed by visiting michigan.gov/MICRC. This portal can be utilized to post maps and comments, which can be viewed by both the commission and the public. Members of the media who may have questions regarding, before, during, or after the meeting should direct those questions to Edward Woods III, Executive Director for the Commission at woodse3@michigan.gov or 517-331-6309. I would request at this time that Yvonne Young call the roll. Yvonne, if you would do so, please.
Good morning, commissioners, and good morning, everyone. Commissioners, I'm going to call the roll for today, May 12th, 2022. If you are present, please say present. And if you're attending remotely or from the military, please share with us where you are attending from. The city, the county would be great. I'm going to start the roll. Doug Clark.
Present, and I'm attending this morning's meeting from Huntington Beach, California.
Juanita Curry.
Present and attending remotely from Detroit, Michigan.
Anthony Eade.
Present, remotely attending from Detroit, Michigan.
Rhonda Lang.
Present, attending from Osceola County.
Steve Lett.
Present, and I'm attending from Interlochen, Michigan.
Brittany Kellum. Cynthia Orton.
Present, attending remotely from Battle Creek, Michigan.
MC Rothorn.
Present, but not attending for long. So I'm going to sign off. Bye.
Rebecca Zatella. Janice Billette.
Present, attending remotely from Highland Township, Michigan.
Aaron Wagner. Richard Weiss.
Present and attending remotely from Saginaw Township, Saginaw, Michigan.
Dustin Witches.
I'm present, apologizing for the lack of video, but I am attending from Rose City, Michigan.
with MC in and out, we have 10 commissioners present and we have a quorum. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you. Perhaps at this time, MC has already explained what is going on with him. His connection is somewhat suspect, and he's also not feeling well, and his family has tested positive for COVID. Dustin, who is the vice chair, it's my understanding, has connection issues and has requested that I handle the meeting today. Is that correct, Dustin?
That is correct, Steve.
Okay. Are there any objections from any of the commissioners to my setting in the chair today?
No.
Hearing none, we'll move forward with that. The agenda has been previously presented to all the commissioners. Are there any additions, deletions, or amendments to the agenda as presented? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Moved by Juanita,
Second.
seconded by Doug. All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The agenda is adopted. As a reminder to the public watching, you can view the agenda at michigan.gov/MICRC. Everybody have to bear with me. It's been a while since I've done this, so I'm a little slow. All right. We're now up to public comments. Without objection, we will begin the public comment pertaining to the agenda topic portion of our meeting. Hearing no objection, we will now proceed with public comment. Yvonne, we have people for public comment today? Or Edward or Sarah?
I am actually, yes, we have people for public comment.
All right. Individuals who have signed up and indicated they would like to provide live remote public comment to the commission will now be allowed. I will call your name and our staff will unmute you. If you are on a computer, you will be prompted by the Zoom app to unmute your microphone and speak. If you are on a phone, a voice will say that the host wants you to speak and prompt you to press *6 to unmute. We'll call on you by your name or the last 4 digits of your phone number. Also, please note that if you experience technical or audio issues, or we do not hear from you for 3 to 5 seconds, we will move on to the next person in line and then return to you after they are done speaking. Your audio still does not work, you can email us at redistricting@michigan.gov and we will help you troubleshoot so you can participate during the next public comment period at a later meeting. You will have 2 minutes to address the commission. Please conclude your remarks when you hear the timer. I will now turn it over to Yvonne to say who is first in line and to proceed with that person. Yvonne, please go ahead.
Mr. Scannell is first. We're ready. I'd like to stop for a moment and interrupt and share that Brittany Kellum has joined. Commissioner Brittany Kellum has joined.
Hey, Brittany, if you would let us know where you're joining from, we would appreciate that.
Hey, good morning. Attending live, attending remotely from Detroit, Michigan.
We'll take it that you're alive, but you're attending from Detroit. Very good.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Commissioner Kellum. First in line is Mr. Scannell for public
Ready,
comment.
Mr. Scannell?
There's a note on the chat that says he's not present.
Yep, I see it now. Next in line is Mr. Gallant.
Hello, James Gallant, Marquette County Suicide Prevention Coalition. These are my opinions. And I'm going to give you a little summary of our case of controversy that is going to be presented for a review of the Michigan Supreme Court. And as an example is right now, first and foremost, is I am being denied right now. Everybody's being denied our due process because Commissioner Lett figured he would just go in, step in, and bully everybody by unanimous consent. He said, hearing no objections, just like the bully in the schoolyard. If nobody objects, the deviant behavior is going to fly. So he just stepped right in. Now, the rules of procedure say that the vice chair is here, so he has to chair the meeting. And that's the rule. So that's our due process. See, you following the rules is my due process. You have to follow your process for it to be my process. That's the problem. And, you know, is Yvonne acting as the secretary today? Because is she the secretary without a vote? Because Secretary Benson, of course, is not here again today, right? And she's AWOL, and she's away without leave. Nobody said she could leave and not be the secretary. And you know, this is just the problem. Is the bullying goes on when the floor is assigned and without a motion that is seconded. Robert's Rules of Order, page 366, line 8, requires no debate before a motion. So does the decorum. You have to have a pending motion. And at the last meeting, the chair bullied the vice chair into facilitating the meeting. When there was no issues before the commission, there was no motion. According to your rules, that ain't even Robert's rules. That's your specific rule that you're responsible for, that you made, that you thought was so great. That's what you, and then he bullied the rest of you, hearing no objections. See, nobody is agreeing. Nobody gets a vote. These are voting. This is violation of their voting rights of the members of this commission. So we're talking about voting. This is about elections. So this is a perfect example for the Supreme Court to come in, and they're having a hearing about you folks. I think it's next week. So this is our issue.
Do we have others in line, Yvonne?
No, we do not. That ends public comment.
This concludes our public comment. However, I would like to mention that all emailed and mailed public comments are provided to the commission before each meeting. Commissioners also regularly review the public comment portal on our michigan.gov/MICRC website. We appreciate everyone who offers public comment in whatever way you choose to, and invite you to keep sharing your thoughts, especially if you like to share ways that MICRC processes or procedures that have been good or could be more effective. Next on our agenda.
Hey, Steve.
Yes.
Hey, I just wanted to let you guys know that I joined and I'm joining remotely from Wayne County, Michigan.
Thank you, Rebecca. Welcome. Good to see you.
Thanks.
Okay, unfinished business. A is dormancy discussion, and we had at one time Attorney David Fink has come on, and Attorney Nate Fink, and I see Mike Brady's here also. I'm going to turn it over to David since he's unmuted and the senior partner, so he gets the senior chair. Go right ahead, David.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Please, throughout this, I will be watching Nate to see if he makes a face that I'm incorrect, or that I should defer to him.
We can see his eye roll if he does that.
Good. Regarding the dormancy issue, we are not prepared to, nor are we submitting a formal recommendation yet to the commission. I do want you to advise the commission. We've been in touch, of course, with Commissioner Lett. And I think it's probably appropriate for me to note now that initially I wasn't certain how the process would work in working with the liaison for the commission. And I do want to say that it's been extremely constructive and very helpful to us to have that point of contact, not for decision making, because there isn't any decision making going on there, but making sure that we're fully informed and able to share information. And so I want to thank, I don't want to embarrass him, but I want to thank Commissioner Lett for his terrific availability and help in that process. We're grateful.
Okay, I'll do an eye roll now.
Okay. Okay. Regarding the issue of dormancy, I have to say this. Those of us who are attorneys and their view on this in this meeting right now, other than your representatives, always enjoy interesting legal questions. This is a fascinating legal question. The specifics of the Constitution in some respects are very clear in what should happen when the terms expire. On the other hand, the purpose of the act and the policy implications of some of the specific statements in the Constitution and directives in the Constitution may be inconsistent and cause some concerns. So we have reached out to the Baker firm for their perspective regarding some of the potential implications of our initial interpretation of the Constitution. And we've had some discussions with Commissioner Lett. We'll be having some other discussions with others. And but at this point, we're not ready to render any kind of and we've also been in touch with the Secretary of State's office appropriately for their perspective. I would say that fortunately, this is not an issue that is as time sensitive as some others, because dormancy or the retirement of any of the commissioners by statute, by constitutional directive, can't occur until the completion of a legal review. And there's no question that it would be at a minimum several months, probably quite a bit longer than that, before that occurs. So that should give the commission time to consider this and for us to be considering all of the various perspectives before any final determination is made. So with that, I'm happy to answer questions if people have them, but we're not prepared at this point to make a formal recommendation.
Are there any questions, comments? Nate, anything to add?
Nope, I withheld any eye rolls, so.
Want me to do one for you again?
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you, Commissioner.
Mike Brady, are you there with us?
I am here with you, and I have nothing to add unless there are specific questions for me.
Okay, I did meet, we met yesterday, a Zoom meeting with David and Nate, myself, and Edward. And David has addressed what we talked about, summarized it very closely. There certainly is questions about dormancy versus ending the commission entirely, which probably is going to be the major contention. And of course, wrapping up under either scenario will have to be addressed and is being addressed. And as David said, there's not a huge time constraint on this, since probably the litigation is going to go on for, my guess is, a couple of years. Perhaps David or Nate think it might conclude sooner than that, but I feel that if it doesn't get summaried out, and even if it does, it'll be appeals, and once it hits the Supreme Court, there's not going to be a huge rush in the Supreme Court to do anything, in my opinion. Plus, after a couple of elections, that one's coming up soon, there may be additional suits filed, which we were all aware of that possibility. So we could be around for a while. With those comments, anybody have any follow-ups or questions? But I want to thank David and Nate and Mike for the work that they've done on this. They certainly are keeping me informed as well as all of you informed. And it's working out well, I feel, in their position as acting as our general counsel on an ad hoc basis. I think that's worked out quite well. Okay, unless there's something else, we'll move on to the next report.
The only thing I can't help myself, I do have to say just one quick thing, which is I should have acknowledged when I referenced the Secretary of State, I should have been a little more specific to say how much we appreciate the input that we've had from Mike Brady. He's thought through these things at a very sophisticated level and has given us very, very helpful insight throughout the discussion.
Don't encourage him. He'll get a big head.
Well, he's not on the video.
Anything to add, Mike?
Nothing to add unless there are specific questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Richard.
I just have a quick question. Am I to understand there's like 3 open suits right now? Or is it just 2?
There are 2 open suits right now. The original Supreme Court case is over, but the Banarian case continues. That case is now awaiting a rather complex disposition in the United States Supreme Court. Again, it's fascinating. It's in the 43 years I've practiced, I've never seen an appeal like this where you take an appeal direct to the United States Supreme Court. And it has a very interesting set of procedural rules, but those procedural rules tell us that we should not anticipate any kind of action on these cases before October. There'll be briefing before then, but no decision can be made before October, and we in the ordinary course. So we don't expect those cases to be over. Then there's the new case, the AG case, which has been assigned to the same 3-judge panel that heard the Banarian case, and that case is on a more relatively traditional schedule, which means that we don't even file an answer until sometime, the response until sometime in June. And then that case could go through various stages of discovery, et cetera, before anything is resolved there. But the original case has been dismissed.
Good for you, Richard. Okay, Dustin.
Just had a procedural type of question. If something is appealed like this directly to the Supreme Court, does that mean that the Supreme Court will take it on only if they decide to take on the case? Or since this is an appeal, is it by right and that the individuals can do it no matter what?
David, you certainly can address it, but I'm going to address that very issue in my report.
Oh, well,
I have no problem.
I defer to our liaison.
I have no problem waiting then until you give your report, Steve.
Give me something to talk about. All right. Any other questions? I don't want to cut off the discussion. This is interesting stuff, and at least to a couple of us on the on the commission. It's a joke, Rebecca. Okay. If there isn't anything any further, David, again, and Nate, thank you. And you're welcome to hang around, but that's up to you. Commission report update. Edward?
It's actually going to be Mr. Fink.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
glad I hung around.
good. I thought Edward would handle this one, but go right ahead, David.
I think Edward would handle it if we had given him recommendations. We've been in contact, as I believe the commission knows, with Edward and with Commissioner Lett regarding the both the draft report and the draft dissenting reports. The reports raise some potential issues of concern, notwithstanding. That doesn't mean that the reports shouldn't be issued as written, but they raise some questions that we want to look at. We want to have the opportunity to talk briefly with commissioners, if we think it's appropriate, about some of the reports before they are released. In more specifically, though, before we take any action or make any recommendations to the commission or to individual commissioners, we have sought some input specifically from the Baker firm because of their lead responsibility in defending the litigation, to be sure that we have their perspective on whether there's any potential adverse impact in any pending or anticipated future litigation. Again, whether there is or isn't doesn't determine whether the report is issued as is or whether the dissenting reports are issued as they are. We simply want to be able to fully inform you so that you can make your determinations on what you want to do regarding those reports. But there's one very specific issue that has arisen and that has delayed our ability to get back to you on this, and that is we've reached out to the subject matter experts. For those of you who are familiar with the substance of the at least a draft dissenting report, the issues arise regarding at least one subject matter expert. And we've reached out to the subject matter experts, but one expert in particular, Dr. Lisa Handley, has been extremely busy, frankly, involved in litigation related to other redistricting, not Michigan. And because of her very tight schedule right now, we have not yet been able to obtain the feedback that we want to get from her so that we can share that with the commissioners. So we're not ready to make a recommendation on the report, but I expect that we're going to have feedback very, very soon. And then we'll be talking to the commissioners after we get that feedback. And again,
any questions for David? Anthony.
That is regarding one of the dissenting reports. Or is it the report in favor?
Is that the question?
Yes.
The issues addressed with Dr. Handley relate to a draft dissenting report. However, our recommendations may include recommendations regarding the what I call the majority report. To the extent I think this can be looked at by analogy to an opinion from an appellate court. We have a majority opinion and you have a dissent, and it's not unusual for the majority opinion to refer to dissenting opinions and to add context for those dissenting opinions. So the answer to your question, Commissioner Ide, is both. It relates to both the dissenting report and what you might or might not want to include in the majority report.
Wonderful, thank you.
I think just going forward, these reports would be more accurately classified as the majority report and a minority report versus a dissenting report.
There was some.
It may be.
There was some movie called Minority. There was some movie called Minority Report that always kept that out of my vocabulary. But
That was a good movie. Tom Cruise was in it.
Cruise, yep, Tom Cruise.
Okay, any other questions for David or Nate? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, David. Any other reports from you, David?
I have another granddaughter a month ago. She's healthy, happy.
We'll always welcome good time reports. Thank you. Okay, moving on. House Appropriations Subcommittee and General Government. Edward, are you doing that one?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Commissioner Lett. Before we
All right.
begin, just want to say, hope that each and every one of our mothers on the commission and the listening audience had a happy Mother's Day. I hope you were fettered, applauded, and given your flowers while you are still alive. So just want to say on behalf of our commission, I hope our commission mothers had a happy Mother's Day, as well as those who are participating. Thank you so much. And I saw Commissioner Eid with a hand clap of applause, so let me do that as well. And it's nice to see your smiles. As you know, we had a presentation to the House Appropriations Subcommittee on General Government. And I want to thank Sarah Martinez, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I want to provide you with the financial statement that's also posted on our website for people to take a look at as it relates to fiscal year 2021, our whole entire financial statement. It talks about our appropriations. It gives you the actual. It shows you the budget and then the variance, salaries, general travel, technology, in-person meetings. And once again, this is the information for 2021. And we returned $20.90, as you already know. This is done in QuickBooks. So really want to give a shout out to Sarah Martinez. This is how we do our checks and balances with regards to that. And if there's any questions, I can take it on the report, but this has been information that you have had previously.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, seeing none, go right ahead. Oh, Doug.
Yeah, Edward, I think it'd be worth our time if you could explain how you calculate the variance or what the variance column is.
Sure. The variance is the actual minus the budget is the variance in terms of the variance column. So for example, commissioner salaries were budgeted for $898,810, but the actual salaries was $912,858.47. And when I noticed there, what it looks like is Kelly Services gets a premium as it relates to that. So the salaries are not just the commission salaries, it's also the fee to process that through Kelly Services. And that's what causes the variance in that particular area. The same thing with the staff salaries as well. And then other areas it just might have just been, budgeting where the commission has made up money. Last year, the commission saved money with regards to our public hearing costs. And so money was redistributed with regards to that. But at the end of the day, you will notice that the commission actually returned $20.90 back to the general fund coffers that it did not use in accordance with the Constitution. Commissioner Clark, is that satisfactory?
Just as a comment on the variance. If the variance is a positive number, that's not good. We overspent. If the variance is a negative number, that's good. We underspent. It's kind of incongruous as to what you might expect. Okay, go ahead, Edward.
Thank you. Now I'm going to bring up our expenditures as of the April 30th report. Really want to give a shout out to the Legislative Services Bureau, Lori Kleinfeld and Janelle Thalen for their help in doing that, as well as to our MDOS team that helps us with our procurement. Chad Passett and his team have just been a tremendous help throughout this entire process. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, this is the total amount of expenditures that we have so far that we have spent. We've spent a total of $2,380,000, $709.83 is what we have spent. And this is as of April 30th, 2022. Of that amount for the consultants, you see $1,106,714.23. You see the commissioner salaries, communications and outreach budget, which was previously cut by the commission this year, staff salaries, meetings, travel and office reimbursements, Braille maps and translations, technology, and then FOIA income and returns. And doing a breakout of that, you see the litigation expense of $1,106,714.23. Our litigation counsel, which is our Baker Hostetler, we spent $399,963.14. This is paid through February. I do want to alert you that we do have a bill for them for February and March. That is $444,246.25. So want to share that with you. Once again, that's for the bill of February and March. As you know, although it's through April 30th, we do get April bills in May. So I just want to make sure in terms of the timing, our April bills come in May. Our mapping consultant, we've spent $370,000, $192.35. They're paid through March. Our local counsel, which is Fink Brusket, is $227, $708.75. We currently owe them $30,000, $458.04. That has not been paid. So that's not a part of this report. Our Voting Rights Act legal counsel, we paid $91,573.94. And we have a bill outstanding of $2,783.13. And then our general legal expenses, which is Robert Half, our Epic, which does our email research for legal emails when we get public records requests, those are at $17,276.05. So once again, the total spent on consultants relating to mapping and legal expenses is $1,106,714.23. The commissioner salaries also includes the money that goes through Kelly Services and payroll taxes. And as you know, this is for this fiscal year has been expended. Communications and outreach is the money, $273,000, $524.52 that we have spent. Outreach and increased awareness and engagement. This also includes our lessons learned and all that information that was spent this year. Staff salaries are paid through Kelly Services and payroll. That amount is right there. Our meetings, $210,068.62. This is facilities, hotel, audio visual, security, parking, and a couple of group meals that we've had. Travel and office reimbursements. This is travel and supplies reimbursements for commissioners and staff. This would be more like your travel receipt that you submit through Kelly Services, and then the reimbursement for office supplies, whether that's paper or toner that's requested, that comes through this line. Our Braille maps and translation deals with the Braille maps that we did, as well as the translation services through Linguistica, when we translated in Spanish, translated in Arabic, and translated in Bengali. That's what the cost incurs. Our FOIA income and, I'm sorry, did I skip one? Technology is our cell phone service and our technology services through DT&B as relates to our computers. And then income returns is the income from FOIA and our request and our office supplies returns in terms of what was returned back because we didn't need it. And then this is the total. Our appropriation was $3,108,900 for this fiscal year. We've spent $2,380,709.33. And we have a balance of $728,190.67 as a result of our April financial statements. Once again, this does not include the roughly $480,000 that we have outstanding as relates to legal expenses. So having said that, I think around sometime in June, we may run out of money. And so what I would like to suggest to the commission is that we, write a letter to the House subcommittee, letting them know our situation and ask them to move post haste with regards to providing our budget request of $1,157,064 to supplement the budget due to increased litigation expenses.
Okay, questions, Doug?
Yes, how did you calculate the 1 million, what is it, $500,000?
The $1,157,064. I just supported that from the report, the budget report the commission approved in March 24 is where that number came from. And that number, I believe, came from due to the increase in litigation. So in terms of where we're at today and what's anticipated in terms of the bills coming in, it was determined that it would be $1,157,64. And that's what was approved at our commission meeting on March 24.
So when you factored that in, did you factor in like the $400,000 we owe Baker Hostetler and the other money that we owe the Fink firm and so forth?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And then my other comment is, I think what Edward is recommending to move forward with a letter to the Appropriations Committee is something we need to handle very quickly, because if they have to go into the legislature for approval, I know they'll have time off in the summer, and we need to address this as quickly as possible to make sure that we get the money on a timely basis.
You're making that as a motion, Doug?
I do.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Dustin, second. Doug made the motion. Motion is to produce a letter to the legislative subcommittee. Is that correct? Edward, it's a subcommittee, or is it the committee?
It's a subcommittee, sir.
Subcommittee for the request for a supplemental appropriation based upon our needs in relation to litigation. Are there any questions or comments, Doug?
Yeah, one comment. I would suggest that letter also include a date that we would like to have a response back by, to give us the opportunity that this doesn't linger on throughout the summer, and then we're going to end up in a financial situation.
Okay.
I also want to reiterate, that we could get additional lawsuits. So I want to make sure everyone knows that letter will say we may need to come back. This is just an estimate. I just want to be clear. This is an estimate.
Any further questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, raise your
Commissioner
hand.
Eade has his hand up.
I'm sorry.
And
Anthony?
my only question is, have we heard anything from the subcommittee yet at all? Or are we look?
I have not heard back from them, other than they'll get back to us if they have any questions. And so at our last meeting, we talked about, going back, looking at the numbers and bringing a report back to the commission. And now we can share this updated information with the subcommittee.
Okay, any other questions, comments? If not, all in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign. Motion passes. Edward will take care of writing a letter. Anything further, Edward?
MDOS is asking for confirmation of Rhonda's vote.
Yes. Thank you.
Rhonda, what was your vote, please? Rhonda, are you there? I guess we don't know. All right. Edward, anything further?
Nope, that's it for unfinished business.
Okay, we're up to our next item, approval of the minutes. I have on the agenda April 14th and April 28th. Those were provided to the commission prior to today. Are there any, let's do April 14th. Are there any additions, corrections, deletions?
Acting
Rhonda,
Chair.
is that you that wants to talk?
Yes. Yes, sorry, I couldn't get unmuted.
Okay, we just wanted to know what your vote was.
Aye on the letter, and I'm going to abstain from the minutes because I was not there.
Okay,
I move to adopt.
the April 14th hearing, motion to adopt, is there a second? Richard's second. Any discussion? All in favor of adoption, raise your hand and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Dustin, you're opposing?
No. I'm for.
Okay, so we had one abstention, the rest approvals. Moving on with the April 28th minutes. Are there any additions, deletions, corrections?
Move to adopt.
Second.
We'll give Doug the second. Okay, any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And Rhonda, I'm assuming you're abstaining from this one also?
Correct.
All right. One abstention, the rest approval. Minutes are approved as presented. Next is the staff report. Since we only have one staff, I assume that's going to be Edward.
Thank you, Steve. Commissioner Lett, sorry. And let's go right to the report. Are you able to see my screen?
We are.
Great. It's just highlights. The district maps are out. I want to thank Commissioner Rothhorn, our chair, Commissioner Dustin Witchers, our vice chair, and Commissioner Cynthia Orton for helping on this project. The district maps are out by congressional, they're out by state house, and they're out by state senate, but you can also see them by county maps. So I want to encourage everyone, if you haven't seen them already, to go to the website, michigan.gov/MICRC, so that you are able to see the district maps. And then for those of you that are wondering, if you check on Chestnut, Hickory, and Linden, you can still type in your address and see what district you're in. We did not, I repeat, we did not take those sites down. All of that information is still available. If you want to go back and look at the comments, all of that is still there. It is not down. Only thing we did was just add the district maps with regards to that. So just want to share that they're available, that you can get them by state house, state senate, as well as congressional. And then you can also go to your county and see what districts are represented in your county by state house, state senate, and congressional. Yesterday, the House Joint Resolution S was introduced. This is not binding. I'm going to thank Attorney Mike Brady from MDOS, had a conversation with him earlier today. It's not a binding resolution, but it's just an attempt to find some cause or support around abolishing the commission. In order to abolish the commission, it will take an amendment by the people of Michigan, but just wanted to share that with you. It's a joint resolution. It's not binding, but something that was introduced by one of the members. House Bill number 6098 was also introduced with regards to the Opens Meeting Act. And if you noticed in that, they struck out the portion that relates to the MICRC. Lessons learned report and video. Just want to give you an update that they're almost finished shooting everyone that they need to take the video for and the report. And so we should have something, a draft in June. We should have a draft in June. And then also let you know that we are doing a website audit, just making sure that everything is there, whether it's reports or anything along those lines, from the inception of the commission to the present, with regards to that. So just want to make sure that that's accurate and in order. And also make sure that the attendance records of the commission are also accurate and in order as relates to each commissioner. So just wanted to share that with you in terms of some highlights and what's taking place. As always, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to call me, text me, email me, and I'm more than happy to assist you in any way possible. If there's any questions, Commissioner Lett, I can take them at this time.
Anybody have any questions for Edward?
There was a note that Mike Brady's hand is up.
Mike. There you are.
Good morning, Commissioner. Yes, good morning, Commissioners. I just wanted to clarify with the House Resolution S, I believe that Director Woods had referenced. That resolution, and I apologize, Edward, that I wasn't able to circle back with you. I just want to clarify that particular resolution is not simply a statement of like an expression of the feeling of the legislature. That resolution actually would seek to put on the ballot an amendment to the Constitution, which would then go to the voters. So that's something that is, a process within the Constitution that allows the legislature by a certain, vote in both chambers to have something added to the ballot in order to then amend the Constitution. So I just want to clarify that.
So as a clarification, that would be very similar to the one that the legislature just put on the ballot to modify the term limits in Michigan. Is
exactly.
That okay?
That's exactly right. Yes.
I have a question. Well, any comments, questions about that particular resolution?
But Mr. Brady, that would mean that we need 2/3 in both chambers. Is that correct? To get that on the ballot, just like they did for the one with the chamber proposal on term limits?
That's correct. Yes, I'm sorry if I became muted. Commissioner Lett, that's exactly the same process.
Any other questions on that? I've got a question on another piece for Mike, but anybody else have any questions on this resolution? All right, on the Open Meetings Act, what was struck? What's that about, Mike?
What was struck is the language that that was added last fall, the language in the Open Meetings Act that refers to the MICRC. So, and particularly in the context of closed session. So they had added, your call last fall, language that says, except as, in the next section, these are the following permissible purposes for closed session. And so it basically was carving out and denying the MICRC the ability to go into closed session for any of those permissible purposes. We know from the Michigan Supreme Court case and the AG opinion that these laws are not particularly, I say the Open Meetings Act itself is not binding on the commission, and for this reason, this whole body is meeting virtually today in a way that is not otherwise, permissible for other public bodies here in the state. We've talked about that before. So whether the Open Meetings Act language stays or goes, I don't know that it has any material legal impact on the commission, the commission's operations. Given that it's being sponsored by the same, individuals who are sponsoring the resolution that would put the question on the ballot as to whether or not the Constitution should be amended again to remove the MICRC, I imagine it's probably kind of consistent just to clean up the law to remove any reference to the MICRC anywhere.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any questions for Mike? Any comments? All right. Edward, anything further?
No, thank you very much.
All right. All right, we're up to me for the legal liaison report. And as you are aware, as we've said, Edward, myself, and David and Nate met yesterday by Zoom for about a half an hour over the dormancy issue and the update on the appeals and cases. The Benarian appeal, as David said, has been filed with the United States Supreme Court. And so I asked him yesterday, because that's while there's no right to appeal to the United States Supreme Court. You appeal by certiorari, which means, okay, we want to appeal to you, Supreme Court. Here's kind of why, and if you want to take it, you do. If you don't, you tell us no, and that's it. So there is no, quote, right of appeal. Benarian has a direct appeal, so they can file that. That doesn't mean the Supreme Court is going to accept it. So where we are with the Benarian appeal is they have filed the appeal. They have 30 days from the date of their filing to file a jurisdictional brief. That would mean that, okay, we have filed this appeal and here's why we have the right to file it. It's coming from a 3-judge panel out of the Western District of Michigan. Once that's filed, then we, as the defendants, have 30 days to object. In other words, we file a responsive brief saying they're wrong and here's why you shouldn't even entertain the appeal. After that's filed, then the plaintiffs would have 14 days to reply. And then the court would make a decision. That's probably going to, we're in October by then. After you file after all these filings, then there's no telling when there might be a decision. I mean, the court could say, no, we're not going to take it. See you later. Go back to West Michigan and argue your case. They could say, yep, we'll take it, and we're going to issue an injunction. Wouldn't be a decision on the case, but they've asked for an injunction that was denied, and so that's why they've appealed. So, any questions on that before I go on to AG? Okay. AG is another West Michigan case. Our response is not due until June 17th. So that's where it is. They filed their complaint. They, it's my understanding, did not request an injunction. I believe that's correct, Rebecca. Okay. So our response is due on the 17th, which Baker will be putting together, and we'll see where it goes. And from there, it would just go on through the normal process. I would assume, I haven't talked with Baker. They haven't been in these Zoom meetings. I haven't talked with Kate, and I would assume they file a response. They could file a response at that time saying, asking for summary disposition. They could file an answer and then later ask for summary disposition and see what's going on there. I don't know if everybody, that's all, any questions on AG? All right. I don't know if you all follow what's going on around the nation. Florida Supreme Court, which I kind of follow because I get the local paper down there still. The Supreme Court in Florida just threw out the governor's proposed maps saying they were a violation of the Voting Rights Act, and it put back the maps that were previously in place. The governor in that instance is going to file a direct appeal to the Supreme Court. So we'll see where that goes. We've been following Ohio. They're in a big contest between the governor and the legislature, they filed they supposedly have a commission that doesn't seem to do much. And so they have filed a number of plans that have all been rejected. And I think the last thing I knew is kind of up in the air as to what they're going to do. So we've done well. If you saw the editorial that Edward sent around, I think it was fairly appropriate, at least from my point of view. Said we did a good job, which I think we did. And while we expected lawsuits, they haven't been particularly anything that we didn't expect. And the courts have taken a look at them that have rendered decision and said, you know, they're not perfect. However, they accomplish what the law requires them to accomplish. I think we followed what I stated very early on in my tenure as chairperson to start with, is don't let the perfect get in the way of the good. I think we accomplished that. I don't know that you'll ever get perfection in these types of redistricting, but I think we did a good job. And that's the extent of my report. Unless there are any questions for me, I would be happy to entertain them. Not seeing any. Audit liaison report. Who's our audit liaison? Is that you, Cynthia? No? Janice. All right.
Okay, we had our first meeting, May 4th. It was basically just a meeting where we got to meet each other. They talked about the types of reports. We also, the question was brought up of how long they thought it was going to take. They said not long, but I guess they were pressed a little bit. And they said at least a month, maybe a little bit longer. And that's basically the first meeting. We had a meeting this morning at 8:30. This one was just Nancy, is it Savars, Edward? And Janelle Theon and Lori Kleinfeld. And Lori and Janelle are the two people who basically pay the bills. Basically, the whole meeting was the process, you know, how the expense reports were paid and all the other reports. We decided that we didn't need to meet like weekly or every other week. The meetings would be as needed. And then Nancy said that her first report should probably come out the end of July, first part of August. And basically that was it. Do you have anything to add, Edward?
Oh, Commissioner Roulette, great job. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You think that it? Okay. Any questions for Janice? Seeing none. Okay.
Commissioner Orton has her
Commissioner Orton.
Sorry.
Commissioner Orton has her hand raised.
I came up with a late question. So you said the person said their first report would be out July or August.
Right.
Like, so if it's the first report, how many reports are there going to be, or like, when will the final thing be done? Do you know?
No, they didn't say when. That the first meeting, they did try to like say, how long is it going to take? They really didn't have a specific answer. And then someone said, well, will it be a month? And she said, more than likely a month, maybe a little bit longer. So this is the first report. And I guess that she'll just give reports as she collects her information.
I see. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Any others? All right. Again, thank you, Janice. Appreciate that you're taking that on. Department of State, Secretary of State report. Who's going to do that? Mike, you're on. You're up. Are you back in the office?
Hello. I am. I should say in the Lansing office. Sometimes in the Detroit office, but today in the Lansing office. Hello again. I want the only update I've got from the team this morning relates to the commission's decision, discussion 2 meetings ago and decision at the last meeting to go back and post the different FOIA requests, FOIA responses, and documents produced in prior FOIAs. Those are now all available on our website. Great thanks certainly to Sarah Reinhardt, Attorney Megan Shar in our office, Nelson Lawans, and others who made that possible on on this time frame. We are still going to be making some refining the language and other things to make it more user friendly, but it is all available right now. So all the FOIAs and the FOIA responses. So that's the main update. I'm available for any questions if folks have.
Hey, anybody have any questions for Mike? We're glad to see him back on our screen and back in the office. All right, thank you, Mike. Okay, correspondence. Edward, do we have anything in the correspondence area? No.
No, Commissioner.
Okay. Future agenda items. Anybody have anything in particular? Well, let me put it this way. If anybody has anything in particular they want to put on the agenda, get a hold of Edward and he can get it on the agenda. Otherwise, we'll do the usual agenda plus the updates that we normally do. Unless somebody has something specific right now. Edward, any announcements?
Yes, just want to remind everyone that our next commission meeting is Thursday, June 9th. Once again, our next commission meeting is Thursday, June 9th. It'll be a virtual meeting. We will not be meeting on Thursday, May 26th, but our next commission meeting will take place Thursday, June 9th at 10 o'clock a.m.
All right. Okay. Any questions? Anything for the good of the order, as we say? If not, Sarah is not on with us. Oh yeah, there she is.
Yep, she's here. She's suffering laryngitis, so she's not communicating.
Well,
I'm her mouthpiece today.
I wondered why she sounded so good.
Yep, I'm her mouthpiece today.
Well, Sarah, we all hope that you get better. Take care of yourself. We expect you back on June 9th in full throat. All right.
She said, thank you. It's in the chat.
I want to thank Yvonne for stepping in and doing an excellent job covering for me. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Absolutely.
Okay. I would entertain.
I wanted
Dustin.
to say thanks, Steve, for stepping in for both of us here, given my connection issues, and MC, you did a great job. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that, Dustin. And if anybody thinks that I'm a bully for doing that, other than the obvious people, you can say, I'll do it next time. Having said all that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Dustin, I heard Cynthia, I believe. Second. Okay. Motion to adjourn is brought up. All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. I want to thank everybody for their assistance to myself. It's been a while since I've done this, and I obviously have a more relaxed style than maybe addressing everybody as commissioner, but that's the way I like to do it. So everybody have a good, we're about a month away for our next meeting. Take care, don't contract COVID, and we'll see you at the next meeting.